Spreaker.com. We appreciate you telling a friend to tell a friend. And make sure you send us a tweet, Instagram, or a Facebook post at Sports Kings Live. You can also email us anything long form that you got for us. sportskingsatl@gmail.com is the email. And a move that is a move that's kind of was kind of expected, but made me think about the team here in Atlanta. The Bills are going to re-sign Jerry Hughes, the pass rusher, and through all the things that I'm looking at as far as movement and teams being interested in this guy or that guy, the Atlanta Falcons have been very, very quiet. For a team that's taken, and a team that has cap space, by the way, and has taken steps back in the last 2 years as far as performance on the football field. It kind of, I don't know if it's concerning, but it's one of those things that makes you take notice that you haven't seen anything happening with them as far as players that they're interested in bringing in. Like, players are leaving. Like, Harry Douglas is gone, and Justin Blaylock is gone, and Sean Weatherspoon is expected to either sign with, I think, either the Saints or he's going to sign a 1-year deal. Obviously, coming off that Achilles injury, he's not really in line for anything long term right now. He's in the same situation Jeremy Maclin was in last year, although the Eagles did try to negotiate with him last year, coming off that ACL injury. Sean Weatherspoon's in that position this year where he's going to have to prove himself. And the funny thing about him is that he's always been a guy. I don't know how he's been perceived nationally, but here in the city of Atlanta, it's always been, this is the year. This is the year Sean Weatherspoon breaks out. He becomes a household name, becomes a Pro Bowl type talent. And we just, we never got a chance to see it. He was often injured. The big one coming this past year with the Achilles, you just don't, that happens and you shut it down. You shut it down from that point if you're in season to the end and maybe beyond based on how late it happens. Another move. We talked about the San Francisco 49ers a couple of minutes ago, and the dumpster fire that it's become, like, to the point where the owner's talking about, like, he doesn't even understand why certain players are being signed. Which he was talking about Jerome Simpson. I don't even know why we signed him. Well, my man, you mean to tell me nobody ran that by you? Like, are you willing to cut a check, owner, for Jerome Simpson? Because you sound surprised to me, but that's neither. I mean, what you're seeing is a team that institutionally, just basically based on talent, won a bunch of football games. Talent at the head coaching spot, to talent on the defensive side of the football, to talent at the quarterback position, and now that the veil has been dropped, man, that broad is ugly. Yeah, you thought she was a 9. She's a 4.2 at best on her best day. But looks as though, we already know Torrey Holt, or it's already been known that Torrey Holt was not going to be a Baltimore Raven this year. Ozzie Newsome and the guys already said that his value is more than they can afford to pay at that position. So he'll be moving on, and the 49ers are the team that he's been linked to going forward, teaming him back up with Anquan Bolden from their Baltimore days. Something else that I actually meant to bring this up last week. The Jets. The Jets are making moves. Last week they traded for Brandon Marshall from the Chicago Bears, which leaves Percy Harvin expendable, which Percy Harvin was going to be due like $10 million. I was telling people this like 2 years ago. Like, when Percy Harvin was hurt for that whole season, that Super Bowl season for the Seattle Seahawks, I was like, don't worry. Assuming that he was going to still be on that team. Like, I was like, these folks are going to come back for Percy's money. They're going to realize what his value actually is, because everyone keeps ranting and raving about this great athlete that Percy Harvin is and how dynamic he is and how versatile he is. And then there's the caveat. When healthy, like, anytime you say it to me about any player, I'm already checking something off. Like, that's already a minus. Like, if healthy follows every good thing that you have to say about that person, why should I even care? Yeah, Percy Harvin's a good athlete. Yeah, he can return kicks and he can run jet sweeps and you can run him out of the backfield. He can play the slot. He can play a little bit outside. He's built like a truck, so he's supposedly tough, but he don't play no games for you. Like you pay him a king's ransom and you get nothing in return. Yeah, I'm good. I've always been good. The dude that hosted this show with Rob before I did, he's got this huge erection for the University of Florida, for anything University of Florida. Like as soon as he hears University of Florida, it's like Bulge City, and he's trying to like convince me that Percy Harvin was some amazing football player. Nah, like he's average at best. Once again, because if healthy, Percy Harvin can do this and that and the other. Well, it's been a long time in between the times we've seen Percy Harvin do a lot of good things and the times that we've seen him do a couple of splash things in the Super Bowl last year. Last year, traded to the Jets, couldn't finish the season. So now the Jets have an opportunity to cut him, and the good part for them in that situation is that via the trade that I'm referencing, he'll actually the draft pick that was traded to Seattle will become a 6th round pick rather than a 4th round pick, which, if you know anything about me, that's the round that I love to get my running backs in. And the Jets need a running back. Speaking of, like, all these things are starting to just meld together now. And trust me, it's not being planned this way, but Jets running backs. Chris Johnson was involved in a scary situation, this weekend, in which in the city of Orlando, where he's from, he got caught up in a drive-by. Like somebody pulled up beside his Jeep, or the Jeep he was riding in. I'm not sure if he was actually driving it or no, he wasn't driving, as a matter of fact, and rang out some shots. He got hit in the shoulder, but the young man who was driving actually died. So that's unfortunate. He's expected to, as they said in the article that I was reading, have a quick and speedy, a quick and normal recovery from the gunshot wound. But it kind of goes back to something that I was talking about last week a little bit, because this happened at like 4:30 in the morning. They were out doing whatever they were doing at 4:30 in the morning. But sometimes just understanding who you are, and let me preface the next thing I say by saying this: no one should be a slave to their own success. Like, I'm not this dude that says you got all this money, you need to stay in the house, never go anywhere, and protect yourself from everything. That's ludicrous. And if you think me saying that is ludicrous, there are people who I've actually had these conversations with people who feel like that's part of it. You gotta stay out of stuff. Like, nah, if you want to go to the club and pop bottles and all this kind of stuff, by all means. You know what I'm saying? That's your loot. Do what you want to do with it. But last week, we talked about Falcons running back Devontae Freeman, second-year guy. He'll be a second-year guy this year out of Florida State, who they drafted in, what was it, the 3rd or 4th round? They're 2 of my favorite rounds to get running backs in. I don't know if I told y'all that, but yeah, love getting a 4th-round running back. But he seems to feel like going back to his old projects and working out in the park is what's going to put him mentally in the place that he needs to be in order to to do his job better next year. And I'm like, nah, that's kind of I don't know if that's the best thing for you. You work so hard to get out of that place. Because like I read the story. Like the kid who worked in the mortuary and was burying people that he knew, and people that he knew were getting killed out there. It's just one of those things that if you can avoid certain things, from happening, you probably should. Like, I'm not saying that dude shouldn't go back to the place that raised him and help, uplift and do things for the people in that community. I'm definitely saying, as a matter of fact, not saying that. As a matter of fact, he should definitely, if it's within him, and if it's something that he feels committed to doing, by all means, he should go back, talk to the kids that are playing park ball like he was doing when he was a kid. All those things. But just to be there on a consistent basis, if I'm looking at this Chris Johnson story, like, I don't know what happened before. Like, the story didn't talk about any argument that happened in the club or anything of that nature. But I know that people are jealous-hearted, like, just in general. Like, the guys who feel like you're in a position in life that they should be in, and it ain't fair. I'm still in the hood doing this hood stuff. Yeah, I'm going to show him. All right. If at all possible, man, I would just, the whole Devontae Freeman thing, the Chris Johnson story kind of just brought it, full circle to me. And I don't think I'm wrong about it. I don't think I'm wrong about it. And once again, if you're listening to this, my man Lil Hulk Q had already, when the Devontae Freeman thing came out a couple days before Chris Johnson got shot, he kind of hit me with like, I like it. It shows me that he's real, or I forget his actual words, but that he's focused or something like that. And I was like, he could be focused at LA Fitness. Really? He ain't got to be in no park in the projects, because if you know, like I know, the parks and the projects, they're rarely even equipped for kids to play on them, based on the things that are left in the in the project park dirt, or on what was supposed to be a field at one point, or a basketball court at one point that isn't really a basketball court anymore. It's being used for other things by other type of people. And again, I don't know the particular detail of this particular project. I'm going off of generalizations. Like I said, I read this kid's story and I realized that these pork and bean projects that he's from, they pretty much fit the status quo as far as projects go. So I can just put whatever name on them and be confident that it's what I know it to be. We got about 3 minutes here in this hour. I'm sitting here thinking, really, if I was I wasn't sure if I was gonna do 2 hours today, with Rob not being here, but I think I will. I think I got, the more that I speak, the more things actually come to mind, and we got to get into some more of these NFL moves and some of these projected NFL moves, as well as some of the things that are going on within the world of the NCAA. Something that I think is the worst idea ever. And some more NFL news that's not based on free agency, but based on some some news that's coming out about a prospective change in leadership for the NFL Players Association. And it's something, again, that Rob and I spoke about last year. We actually spoke about it. I brought it up to him the day the lockout was over, when all those dudes were championing the fact that, we've got labor peace for the next 10 years. Wait a minute, homeboy. That ain't no good thing. Like, in 5 years, things are going to change, and you're going to want to do exactly what you did last time. You're going to want to opt out of that thing and get you a new deal. Like, no one in the position that the NFL's in, where they have such exponential growth every year. Like, now, just look at the salary cap. It's like $143 million when it was like $120 2 or 3 years ago. Like, this thing is jumping by leaps and bounds. I think it jumped 16% this year. Like, you definitely don't want to lock yourself in, especially on the player side, because what it seems to be like, there's a whole lot of malleability in it for the owner side and the commissioner side. Like, that dude, Roger Goodell's changing things right and left, changing conduct policies. He's changing whatever he wants to change on the fly within this supposed document or supposed agreement that's supposed to last 10 years. And the players have no room to change anything until 2020, or was it 2021. They signed in 2011 and 2021. So that being said, I'll be back with the second hour of the Sports Kings podcast, as heard on Spreaker.com. Again, at Sports Kings Live is our Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. You can also email the show at sportskingsatl@gmail.com. And I can't thank you guys enough for making last week a relative success as far as the numbers that we did. But this week, tell a friend to tell a friend. We're trying to do 100 listens or more per week. Be back with the second hour.